This story was written by ex-NYC prepper, who asks us all to stay ready for whatever because the United States is approaching a crossroads. The upcoming elections are highly charged. The political climate is tense. Deep divisions run through the very fabric of American society. There's a palpable sense of unease, a feeling that the stakes have never been higher. The question on many minds is this: could these divisions lead to something far worse? Could the US face another civil war? It's a question that's uncomfortable to even consider. Civil war evokes images of a bygone era, a dark chapter in American history that we'd hope to never revisit. However, the current climate of polarization and distrust makes it a topic we can no longer afford to ignore. The warning signs are there, flashing red and demanding our attention. The political rhetoric has become increasingly hostile. Compromise is seen as weakness. Dialogue is replaced with diatribes. The middle ground, that space where common sense and collaboration once thrived, has eroded, leaving behind a chasm of animosity and distrust. This is not healthy discourse, it's a recipe for disaster. If we descend into civil war, our enemies will seize the opportunity to attack us, both through cyber warfare and potentially on our own soil. The consequences could be catastrophic. This video was created by ex-NYC prepper. Even if there is nothing we can do to change these governments from causing wars, we can prepare to stay ready for whatever. That's the only thing we can do, and we should all do it. Social media, once hailed as a tool for connection and community building, has morphed into something far more sinister. Instead of fostering understanding and bridging divides, it has become a breeding ground for polarization and extremism. Algorithms designed to keep users engaged have created echo chambers where people are bombarded with information that confirms their pre-existing biases. Within these echo chambers, nuance and critical thinking are abandoned. Facts are twisted, manipulated, or outright ignored if they don't align with the prevailing narrative. Opposing viewpoints are demonized, dismissed as fake news or propaganda. This creates a dangerous feedback loop, amplifying existing divisions and fostering a climate of intolerance and hostility. The result is a society where people are talking at each other, not with each other. Civil discourse, the foundation of any healthy democracy, has been replaced by shouting matches and online vitriol. This inability to engage in respectful, meaningful dialogue is a major contributing factor to the current state of political polarization. The consequences of a second American Civil War are almost too horrific to contemplate. The loss of life would be catastrophic, measured not just in thousands, but potentially in millions. The very fabric of American society would be torn apart, leaving behind a legacy of pain, trauma, and division that could take generations to heal. Beyond the immediate human cost, a civil war would leave the United States incredibly vulnerable. Our enemies, both foreign and domestic, would seize the opportunity to exploit the chaos and instability. The global balance of power could shift dramatically, with potentially devastating consequences for the international order. Economically, the US would be crippled. Trade would grind to a halt. Industries would collapse and the value of the dollar would plummet. The resulting economic depression would be felt not just within the US, but across the globe, leading to widespread suffering and instability. The very idea of another American Civil War should be unthinkable. It should be a scenario that exists only in the darkest corners of our imaginations. And yet here we are, staring down the barrel of our own divisions, teetering on the edge of a precipice. Abraham Lincoln, in his famous House Divided speech, warned that a house divided against itself cannot stand. His words, spoken over a century and a half ago, resonate with chilling relevance today. A nation divided against itself, consumed by internal strife and distrust, cannot hope to prosper, let alone survive. The time for complacency is long gone. We can no longer afford to dismiss the warning signs or downplay the dangers of our current path. The stakes are simply too high. The future of the United States as a nation and as an ideal hangs in the balance. The good news, if we can call it that, is that we still have a choice. We are not yet past the point of no return. The path to healing, to bridging the divides that threaten to tear us apart, lies in rediscovering our shared humanity. It requires a conscious effort to listen, to understand, and to find common ground. This is not about agreeing on everything. It's about recognizing that despite our differences, our political beliefs, our religious views, our cultural backgrounds, we are all Americans. We all share a common destiny, and that destiny is inextricably linked. We rise and fall together. We must reject the politics of division and fear. We must resist the urge to retreat into our echo chambers, to surround ourselves only with those who share our views. We must be willing to engage with those who disagree with us, to listen with an open mind and an open heart. The upcoming elections are undoubtedly important. They will shape the direction of the country for years to come. But regardless of the outcome, regardless of who wins or loses, we must remember that we are all on the same side. We are all Americans. And our shared future depends on our ability to come together, to heal the divisions that threaten to tear us apart. This is not a naive call for unity. It is a recognition that our differences, while real, do not have to define us. We can disagree even vehemently without resorting to hatred and violence. We can debate our differences passionately while still respecting the inherent dignity of those with whom we disagree. The choice is ours. We can continue down the path of division and destruction, or we can choose a different path, a path of unity, understanding, and hope. The future of the United States depends on the choices we make today.